Well, I can officially say I am a half Ironman now. I did finish.
Smith. Craig Staples.
I was going to do just a little race recap. I know a lot of people are interested, and it was my first time. I can definitely say I was average. I was just average on the bike, swim, and run, which is okay. My goal was definitely just to finish this one to make sure I could go the distance, and I did. So now it's time to improve. We'll start the transition morning of. We all went into the transition area at 5 o'clock in the morning, and they started calling out basically whatever your finish time for the swim was. So I ended up lining up with 40 to 45 minutes because that's what I predicted. And just to give you a rundown, I actually didn't even open water swim until I got to Galveston on Thursday with my husband. And I was a little bit nervous about it just because I didn't feel totally comfortable, but that was okay. Actually, the morning of, I had taken some natural calm the night before because I'm typically a very over energetic and excited person anyway, so I did that, and actually I was really glad because the morning of race day I was completely calm and just ready to go. So we lined up at 5 o'clock. I ended up lining up with a 40 to 45 minute time frame. You have to walk. It was probably a half of a mile walk down to where we went to 3 different piers, and every 5 seconds everybody would line up and then one person would jump off, and then or it'd be 3 people that jumped off at one time, and then 5 seconds later the next 3. And actually I met 2 girls in line and a couple of guys as well, and honestly we just talked the whole time. They were experienced racers, had actually done Galveston multiple times, so that made the walking part a little bit easier for me and kind of calm my nerves. But they did, you know, say people are going to be hitting and fighting in the water and stuff, but it should have been easier the way that we were. This was new to Ironman, just with COVID and everything, the 3 people jumping off the piers. So anyways, jumped in the water, and my training, I would say, for swimming in a pool definitely went down the drain. The water was, and you can read all around the internet now, the water was definitely probably one of the toughest in Ironman. It was very choppy. The way out, the wind was blowing and there was waves, and actually there were people that even chickened out and some that did not finish. And I was, in the beginning, I actually swam and kept my head a little bit above water, which is totally not normal. And I actually flipped on my back about 4 different times within the race, which that's not something else I had practiced, but that was the only way to get my nerves to calm down. And so the first third, it was very choppy and windy, so I had to be mindful and just slow down and say, okay, take a deep breath and go, but you have to think you're just in the middle of open water. So anyways, we went to the first buoy and turned around, and it got a little bit easier, and the waves and the wind were coming at our back. So I was finally able to get a breath and just start swimming like I had practiced. And then basically what I ended up doing was say, get to the next buoy, get to the next buoy. And that's how I finished the race, because we made 3 turns total within the race. And actually the final turn to where I could see the end in sight, it got rough again. The water, the waves and everything were pushing me, and it was definitely hard. And I just remember when I got out of the water, my husband, my parents, and Donna were all standing there, and I was like, I said the F word, and I was like, heck yeah, I am done with that swim. And honestly, I knew at that point, once I was done with the swim, I was gonna be able to finish. So I got my wetsuit off. They didn't have wetsuit strippers, which they normally do in the race. And so I had to take my own wetsuit off, and then I went into transition. I took a little bit more time than I would have liked in transition. And one of the things that everybody was joking about is typically people pee in their wetsuits in the water, and then people pee on their bikes to speed up their race. Well, I didn't this time. I went and I peed in the porta potty in between both transitions. And you know, I had my Gatorade and everything that I had nutrition wise, I was chugging it and stuff within transition. But if y'all want me to go over what I ended up intaking through the whole race, let me know. That'll be another video. So anyways, got on my bike and felt great. You know, I got my bike 2 weeks before, so my husband and I had rode in Galveston, and it was very windy a couple days before, and I actually never felt 100% comfortable on my bike. But race day, and I'm kind of that type, I'm kind of like when I need to perform or when I'm under pressure, I actually do better. And bike felt great. Race day, no problems, no flats. I saw people get flats. I saw people actually get injured on their bike. Actually, the first I think like 10 miles, someone was actually on a stretcher, so that was kind of scary. But anyways, there was tailwind on the way there. I got up to about 26 miles per hour, and then on the way back, because it was just a big old circle, on the way back there was a headwind, which I was much slower, down to 12 to 15 miles per hour. Absolutely, looking back, I could have pushed harder. I was definitely trying to preserve energy just to make sure I could finish that day. Without a doubt, I could have pushed harder throughout the whole race. But that's why you do this. You live and you learn. So everything on the bike went as perfectly as planned. And then transitioned to the run, which that's what I love. I'm a runner. So, and funny thing is, I actually PR'd on my half marathon at this Ironman. So I ran my best half marathon, which I've ran a total, this is my 7th half marathon, and I ran 8:26 minute miles, and I'm actually have decided the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to run the Cowtown Half Marathon and PR it. So I'm going to beat my 8:26 pace, and that's in 22 days. But ended up finishing the Ironman race, 6 hours, 20 minutes, and 5 seconds. I was happy with it. Do I think I could do better? Absolutely. So I haven't decided if I'm going to do another half Ironman next. My coach is encouraging me to do a couple of smaller smaller triathlons just to get my feet wet this year. And without a doubt, I mean, I have to do a full now. And I had a YouTuber actually comment on one of my videos saying that they don't say, Ashley Thornton, you are an Ironman at the end of a half, and they don't. They just say your name. So now it's like, okay, I have to become an Ironman, and to do that, I have to do a full. So without a doubt, I would say within the next year, that's my plan. And I'm confident. I had a great time. The morale, the energy. My husband's as addicted to it now as I am. He's actually pushing me to do more. So we're actually going to go to, I think, Cancun May 1st and watch Nick Bear and Natasha compete at Challenge Cancun. So that'll be pretty cool. And I'm excited. I freaking loved it and don't regret a minute of it. I love the experience. And if you're thinking about I would do it. It's worth it. I would definitely say the biggest takeaway was everything that I learned within the journey for myself, and that I hope that's not selfish, but I just learned that, I mean, you really can, if you really just concentrate or focus on something, or even if it's 3 different disciplines, as long as you're consistent with it, you can finish and you can do it. So don't hold back and just keep at whatever you're trying to do, and the main key is consistency. Stay consistent and you can finish.